very much for waiting. And of course, there is a woman who needs no introduction, apart from that I will give her one anyway, just in case. It is, of course, Tammy Naidoo, our union president. Tammy, how are you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. I've just come in because I've been outside on campus today doing my campus kitchen, so it's quite nice to be in a warm studio.
Fantastic. Well, it feels like, well, I keep saying this to everyone, it feels like absolutely ages since we were last in this position. You know, we were all just like emotions flying high and everything. I mean, I don't know how emotional you'd have been from being in the kitchen all day.
I'm not entirely emotional from being outside in the kitchen. I feel quite numb. But yeah, it does feel weird being back here after last time. Definitely.
Absolutely. So it's been, I keep saying it's been 9 weeks, it's actually been months, but it's been nine weeks of this first term. How's that all been going for you so far?
Yeah, it's been going really well, I think. Started getting my campaign sort of going, getting loads of events prepared. We've launched a new strategy and sort of been kind of rolling that out, which has been really great. Stuff like that. So yeah, thanks really well.
Fantastic. And one question I'm going to ask, which I think I've asked everyone else, is so far in these kind of 9 weeks of term, what would you say has been your kind of greatest achievement or your kind of biggest move so far?
Oh goodness. I mean, I've only just started launching my campaign, so predominantly my campus, my kitchen facilities campaign. I can't really say what's happened so far. Really, it's still a bit early for days for me, I'm afraid.
No worries.
Nothing too big.
Well, you've mentioned your campus kitchen kind of campaign. For those who might not know, what is that?
So this is focusing predominantly on the accommodation in Rutherford and Elliot. Most people who live in Rutherford and Elliot will know that the accommodation is dire. It is really bad. I mean, the rooms and everything are fine. It's the oldest college, but you're given a kitchen which is absolutely tiny, probably about the size of actually probably smaller than the cardboard kitchen we built out on the plaza. And to be honest, the cardboard kitchen on the plaza's got more provisions because it's got an oven, whilst you don't even really get that in Rutherford and Elliot. So we're trying to get feedback from students to understand what it is really the most important thing about their accommodation. Is it the space, the social aspects, the health? So actually being able to cook meals that are actually good for you, not just loads of microwave ones, or is it actually the economic aspect? So being able to cook for yourself and not having to eat out all the time. So things like that.
No, I definitely know that's definitely been a big issue with most people who've been living in Elliot and Rutherford, learning how to do all sorts of meals out of a microwave. I have heard of someone who said they did do a whole Christmas dinner in a microwave, which I actually want to see them prove that before everything changes with hopefully with your campaign.
Fingers crossed.
But yes, so I'll throw over to Emily now. Emily, do you have a question for Tammy?
Oh, I've got loads coming in. I've got one saying, do you believe Kent Union is accountable?
Ooh.
So accountable generally, I'd presume.
I imagine so.
Until it's a very difficult question to answer, to be honest, because I recognise, even when I was a volunteer as well, that Kent Union did do a lot to try and be accountable, but it wasn't incredibly accessible, perhaps the way that it was. So until now, a sabbatical office would be accountable. It's the same as part-time officers at Union Council, and that was pretty much the only thing. But Union Council isn't incredibly accessible, and not everyone can go to a meeting in the evening, and not everyone wants to sit through something like that as well. I mean, I think, but this year we're trying to make a lot more effort. So tomorrow we're going to be presenting some ideas for our democracy review. So if anyone wants to come along to AGM and find out sort of what kind of ideas we have planned and actually take part in that, so to help us become more accountable, then please do. But I definitely think that there's more that can be done, and that's what we're trying to do right now with the democracy review. So.
Absolutely, and I'm going to reiterate this because I know this will be an absolute pivotal selling point, which is the first 120 to the AGM get a free curry.
They do.
See, you've got to go. It's you're helping yourself and you're feeding yourself.
It's the really nice Thai food one from outside.
There you go. Really hopefully you'll get the lines of Elliot and Rutherford residents just queuing up outside. Fantastic. So I'm going to move on to another thing, which is this is a long one. So, what is the next big thing the Sabbs team is aiming to change? We've had the venue opening hours change, the library being open 24/7, Rutherford and Elliot accommodation students able to stay in halls all year. What is on the cards for this year? So what's the kind of big new change you want to see on kind of Kent Union or Kent University affairs in the next year?
Well, I mean, the two big things I personally think that are happening. So on the Medway campus, we're soon going to be getting our student hub, which is really, really exciting. It's going to, I think at the moment it's on the cards for not next year, but the year after. But I mean, we've been getting students in to sort of get ideas of what they think of the accommodation and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be massive, because we really want a union building on the Canterbury campus as well, but having a union building on the Medway campus will just be amazing. Also, our priority campaign this year is Your Voice. So we're doing a lot of stuff with the internal democracy. So as mentioned before, trying to make us more accountable, making it easier to get changes happening in Kent Union. And so I think that when that's achieved, I think that will be a really massive change, because hopefully we'll get in getting so many more students engaged in Kent Union.
Fair enough, that's a great answer.
So,
and
yeah.
also, you mentioned it previously, I know that I've been kind of keeping quiet on it, but in terms of Medway, I mean, what would you say, so you said there are plans to get a student unions building in Medway as well as Canterbury campus. What else in terms of Medway would you say is a kind of an aim for the entire SAB team? So what would you say is kind of your big aim this year for Medway?
I think, so I've been spending a lot of time in Medway this term, and one thing I've really noticed is that often, the union's done this in the past, and also the university, there's a lot that they don't recognise sometimes that Medway students aren't the same as Canterbury students, not because they're different people, but they're studying different courses. It's a very different environment on the Medway campus, and sometimes I think we just try and replicate what we have here over there, or try and treat them in the same way, and I think that that's not the right way to go, because it's a different community. Like here it's just Kent students, whilst over there it's Christchurch students, Greenwich students, and they mingle all together. And I think that what I really want to try and do is help sort of develop that community over there. And we've been working really closely with Greenwich through the GK, Greenwich and Kent Union together, trying to make sure that we've got society provisions and sports provisions for them. And I'm really hoping that it's something the universities are beginning to recognise as well, that they need to work together more, and I'm really hoping that towards the end of this year that'll be happening a lot more. So yeah.
Fantastic. No, thank you very much. Emily, have you got a question for Tammy?
This one's my favourite one by far.
Oh, okay.
And it came along in cap lock, so this person is passionate, okay? I just warn you now. It says, I would like to thank whoever is responsible for getting Pork & Co on campus today. Club Burrito next.
Or who knows? We got Pork & Co up today to kind of support the campus kitchen campaign. But if everyone's loving it, we can try and get them coming up again, and we can definitely speak to Club Burrito. I don't think that should be a problem. We'll find out, see what they think. Who knows? They might do.
There's always a
you can always ask.
Opportunities. Yeah, why not ask and thou shalt receive? There's always going to be a kind of almost desperate audience, students starving and vying for that pulled pork and vying for those burritos.
They've run out, I think, actually, because when I went up about an hour ago, and they weren't one of the last 20. So
that's just ruined my day. I don't want to do this anymore. I've got to go home.
You're stuck in here.
Well, okay, I'll get you another question, which is. They're all the same. It's all asking about your big goals for the year. We've been going on for so long about your goals for the year. So you were talking about Greenwich. Most people aren't kind of entirely sure about Greenwich, but then also, I don't know whether this kind of accounts, but also kind of the campuses out of the UK, Brussels and Paris. Do you kind of cooperate and kind of work with those campuses quite often? What's how things work with that?
It's a little bit different. So the Paris campus as well, because of the fact that we don't actually have students who live there the entire year. And Athens, that's sort of it's sort of affiliation. Brussels is a little bit different, even again in the sense that we don't really, as Kent Uni, we don't really do very much. We help them with their elections and things like that, and we speak to them about what's going on. But it's very different. We kind of like have a link there, but we don't really represent them because it's very difficult for us to do so because we're so far away. It'd be a bit.
Fair enough. Only a matter of curiosity. Yeah. Emily, could I ask for another question for Tammy, please?
Well, I personally think this is a great question. It says, in your manifest, you have mentioned fixed taxi prices. What has been done so far on this?
So what I've been doing with them is I've been talking to different taxi companies at the moment, trying to get the best deals. I've got a couple of quotes. A lot of taxi companies are really interested in the concept. I think at the moment I'm just trying to work hard on persuading them that on getting us a good price, because I've been offered certain prices but I wasn't very happy with them because I didn't really feel, they offered me a price and then I called them up and asked them to give me a quote for that same trip, and it seemed like it was more. So I'm not entirely content. But I'm going to try and kind of pursue it further, going not only down the sort of for us, it'll be better because students will get cheaper taxis. For them, it'll be better because they'll get more business. Also, looking at the safety aspect. So the fact that someone can go out, they may have lost their friends, but it's okay because they know they can get home for a fiver. Or at least to Westgate or something like that. So it's definitely something I'm pursuing, but I don't want to just accept a price because I know that if it's too expensive, students won't use it anyway. So I want to take a bit longer and make sure I get it right.
Fantastic, and I know that you were saying about taxing the whole safety aspect. That kind of reflects back to something that I know I've heard of over the last few weeks. Of course, the Lights Out campaign.
Yeah.
Of how after midnight, certain kind of what may be considered as kind of superfluous street lights get just turned off.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your stance on this? What are you kind of doing to?
Well, me and Nina have been working on that bit ever since we heard about it. We started looking into what we can do. So there's a petition because it's not. I think there's often not a lot of awareness about this, but the streetlights aren't Canterbury City Council; they're Kent County Council. So it's a lot more complicated than just kind of because I think. It'd be a lot easier if we could just go to the local council to speak about it. It's something that I think the decision was made, but they didn't really know because it's Kent as a county looking in at one small area of Canterbury, and there's a petition to kind of get them to review it. So me and Nina are working on an awareness campaign, to try and get as many students as possible actually aware of this petition, to try and get them more and more signing the petition. We've got this whiteboard that's going to be coming out soon. That's going to be saying why street lighting is important to us, and because students want to get home safe. I'm also in the process of getting a little video of actually what it's like to try and walk down that way. And just try and collect as much stuff as possible to just create as much awareness, because I think that the key is to pairing up with local citizens as well. So the people who live down St Michael's Place as well, just to try and create as much awareness as possible for this petition and get the council to recognise that something needs to be done.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Now, Tammy, it's that time where basically I'm going to pass over to you.
Great.
The floor is yours. If you have anything you want to kind of just throw out there to the students, now is the time.
Sure. So this year, I guess as I've mentioned already, my two really big things are my on-campus kitchens facilities campaign. So trying to get the university to recognise the need for better kitchen facilities on campus. Also. Looking at the internal democracy of Kent Union, so trying to make it more accessible, and we'll be doing a lot of stuff with that with the democracy review, and hopefully we'll get lots of stuff out of tomorrow's AGM, because I meet so many students on a day-to-day basis, even outside today when I've been doing my kitchen campaign, coming up and talk to me about, they wish there was like more vegan food on campus, and they'd really like somewhere to be able to go microwave their meals, and like just stuff like that, because they've seen kitchen, they're like they've associated that, and just come and had a chat. And it's for those students to be able to quite easily just bring something forward like that and tell us, so we can truly represent them. And I think at the moment the systems that we've got, it's just too difficult to do that, because you have to submit a motion, then go to a meeting, and then there has to be enough people at this meeting, then it has to go here and there, and it's too clunky, and we really need to try, and hopefully through the democracy review we'll find a really nice smooth system where everyone can get involved and really do feel like their voices are being heard. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tammy. That's
No
all
worries.
the time we have. And that's all the time we have for keeping tabs on the Sabbs as a whole. So I just want to say thank you so much to you for watching. It's been fantastic and getting all your brilliant questions in. I want to say a very large thank you to our social media specialist, Emily. Thank you so much for Emily for being fantastic and really having my back with those questions. And of course, thank you to the Sabbs themselves for coming in. That's to Tammy, to Meg, to Tom, to Jack, and to Nina. A lot in one breath. I've been Marnie Chadwick. You've been watching in the KTV studio. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.